Joey here from the Daily Dose. What I'll be doing today is opening up one of the brand new Core Set 29 pre-release packs, which you'll be getting at your local store this weekend. And then I'm going to try and build a deck with it, kind of telling you my thought process and what I'm looking to do when I open my pre-release kits to build my 40 card deck. All right, let's see what we get. All right, nice little box here. Get 6 packs of Core Set 2019, and of course the promo card, and the most important thing, the 20-sided dice, now with M19. All right, so everybody always wants to see the promo card first, so let's see what it is. Oh, that's a good one. Look at that. One of the Elder Dragons. Let's crack this open. They package them nicely, but don't make it easy to open. It's okay. It's for a mythic card. All right. Check that out. Arcadius the Strategist. Not quite sure if I'll be able to fit it in my deck, but it's still quite a good card, Ignoring its abilities for, helping defenders out and drawing cards. The fact that it's a 3/5 vigilance for 4 just makes it a very strong creature. So yeah, we'll put that aside for now. Let's see what we got. So usually what I like to do is open up the packs and organize them by color. But what I'll do for the sake of this video is actually just put out the entire pack here, so you can see every card that came in it. All right. Oh, Reliquary Tower reprint. Disciple. Ooh, and the Dragon's Horde. That might actually help me cast Arcades later. We'll see. And of course, the Knight token. A lot of stuff making knights in this set. So what I'll do is just put these off camera, organized by color. And after we open all the packs, I will bring them back onto the frame. All right, pack number 2, Tethered. Does it mean there's a Tethered in it? Maybe. We'll have to see. All right. See? Ooh. Thought I got Nicol Bolas, but no, it's the new Nicol Bolas checklist card. Still very nice though. Could mean it's in here, you never know. So let's see. Lay it out here. See what we got. Second Angel of the Dawn. Alright. Oh, removal spell. Oh. So Dragon Egg. There. Oh, Liliana's Contract. When it enters the battlefield, you draw 4 cards and you lose 4 life. At the beginning of the upkeep, if you control 4 or more demons with different names, you win the game. Well, say it probably would never have that come into play in a sealed deck. But drawing the 4 cards for 1 spell just could be good enough by itself. So we'll see. So we'll see what's happening here. All right, pack number 3. Most important thing. Oh wow, my second Nicol Bolas checklist token, and ooh, the dragon token that goes with the dragon egg. So I'm covered. All right, lay this pack out and see what we got here. Instigator, nice. Invoke, Pegasus. Oh, another draw card spell. Poison Tip. Oh wow. Second pack in a row with Liliana's contract. I think it's trying to tell me something. I do not see any demons here yet, but it really wants me to draw cards with Liliana's contract. Second in a row. So yeah, put them in the colors here. But a lot of card draw. See if that'll help in the end. This card is pretty interesting too. 2/3 death test with reach. It can pretty much block anything on the board. And anytime a creature dies on the battlefield, your opponent's going to lose life. All right, pack number 4. Let's see what we got here. Once again, the token. Ooh, second night token. Yes, let's see what we got here. Charge, anticipate, Highland Game, Stopper, Sentinel. Oh, Common Dragon, that was nice. Innate. Oh, good land to have for some mana fixing. Pride Mate. Sleep. Ooh. Banefire. I'm liking that. Banefire is a nice card to have in limited. Alright. Sleep, by the way, is one of the best spells you can get in limited. If you have a stalemate on the board, you can basically top down your opponent's creatures for 2 turns and get in any attacks you need. Alright. Pack number 5. Of course, the token is... Oh, an emblem this time. Tetheret's Emblem. At the beginning of your end step, search your library for a permanent card, put it onto the battlefield. I would not mind having that emblem. All I need is Tetheret, but we'll see. We got the Scholar. Man, ton of card draw in these cards. My 3rd Elvish Rejuvenator. Oh, everybody's favorite Dreadmaw. It's back. Another Plague Mare, another Pride Mate. Wow. Ooh, Graveyard Marshal. Exile a creature card from your graveyard, create a 2/2 zombie. Alright. Not bad, not bad. I'm definitely trying to lean me towards playing black. Not sure if I have any life gain to go. It's all that life it wants me to pay to draw cards, but we'll see. Alright. Pack number 6. See what we got here. Alright. Token is? Ooh, zombie. Could be needing that. Alright. Another Omen Speaker. Wow. Would you? If I play these, man, I'm not going to be missing my land drops. That is for sure. Totally lost. Courser. Gift. Arcane. Another Poison Tip Archer. Ooh. The Sigiled Sword of Valerian. Equipped creature is +2/+0 vigilance and is a knight in addition to its other types. When it attacks, you get to create a 2/2 White Knight with Vigilance. Not bad. I love those getting these cards unlimited because you, no matter what the color situation looks like, you can put it in any deck. So, wow, what a combination of cards. All right, so let me just put them in colors here and then go on to the next step. Pretty good, you know, generic card that you can put in any deck as well. Card draw is always important. Although if I end up playing black, I might not need this. I'll be drawing enough cards. All right. So what I like to do next is go through each color and find what I call playable cards. Cards that I would be willing to put in my deck in an ideal scenario. Sometimes you'll find you'll end up with more playables than you can fit in your deck. Sometimes you won't have enough and you'll have to go back and check the other cards. But let's start off with white, and I'll kind of put them in two piles, which ones I would play, which ones I wouldn't. That way I can kind of break it down and use that as a way to help break it down. Mighty Leap is a very good combat trick to have. Just sometimes you need the flying part of it, sometimes you need the combat bonus. Each one works well. Pridemate is a good card, even solid 2/2 for 2. Could have a chance to gain additional counters. Not sure if we have anything else to gain life, we'll see. Swiftclaw is another one I would play, 3/1 for 2. Always solid, similar to you know, Knight of New Benalia from Dominaria. If you're playing an aggressive deck, it could be a card that you want to play. Inspired Charge is a card I'm not usually a fan of. Although you can get yourself quite a bonus across your entire creatures on your battlefield. Being 4 mana, I'm not a big fan of it. Usually not a type of spell that I put in my deck. Another Pridemate, another Swiftclaw. Invoke the Divine is a card that I might consider main deck. There's a lot of good stuff out there, artifacts, enchantments. When in doubt, it's still a playable card to keep in mind for your sideboard. Pegasus Courser is one of the best commons. As, you know, if any of you have played Dominaria Draft, you'll know the power of this card. Being able to, you know, give any of the other attacking creatures flying can get you. So, you know, imagine you have, you know, Swiftclaw and Courser, right? Often, you know, if you attack with this, they can block with like a 1/1, it's going to die. You know, boom, give it flying, makes it so it can't be blocked, saves your 3/1, gets you in 4 damage. Next one, I like, so you have 2 of them here. Angel of the Dawn. It's a great card. You know, unlike this one where it's a separate spell, I don't get anything added to my battlefield. You know, playing this almost for the same cost as Inspired Charge. I got a 3/3 flyer on top of it, and it gives my creatures a combat boost and vigilance until end of turn. So I'd definitely rather play this card over an Inspired Charge in my deck. Knight's Pledge. Not a card I would usually play. A lot of opportunity for getting 2 for 1 in a limited format. Even Dub in Dominaria sometimes I didn't play. But the bonuses of Dub from Dominaria is that it gives you first strike. This doesn't. So, you know, even if you throw it on a, you know, a Swiftclaw and make it a 5/3, they can still block with a 3/2 and you're left, you know, still being 2 for 1, right? So, not a big fan of that. So, this one, you know, great card if you have a lot of artifact creatures. I haven't gone through artifacts, but really, there's only one here. Field Creeper, chances are, probably wouldn't play that. So I don't think this is one I'd want in my limited deck. So Trusty Pack Beast, another one dealing with artifacts. None of my artifacts really have to be sacrificed or can easily get to the graveyard. So I don't think this is one that I would want to play. So white, as you can see, overall is pretty strong. A lot of early drops, a lot of creatures. I have a combat trick in there. Not many cards removed, so what we'll do is we'll put that aside and go to the next color. All right, good old Fibblesip. I really don't know how to pronounce it, but it's that guy. Returns in M19. So this can be a powerful ability, especially at instant. To put a permanent on top of its library, you can use it during combat. Great combat trick. Pretty expensive, but still a possibility that I might use the card, so keep it here for now. Omen Speaker is always one that I'm kind of on the fence with. I'm not a big fan of this card because you don't gain any card advantage from it. Card selection, yes, was to scry. Early blocker, 1/3. But, I'll put it is a playable card, but I'm not too fond of it. Dwindle, it's kind of its blues version of removal. The way to try and get rid of a larger creature. We've seen them before in other cards, like Deep Freeze and stuff like that. So it does have the ability to kind of shut down an opponent's attacking creature. They're still able to block with it once. After that, it dies. It's a nice touch. But still not a card I would usually play. Psychic Corrosion. I don't think there's enough in here to kind of have a mill strategy. I've seen a lot of card draw in the other cards, but I still don't think, if we're looking at it with only one of them, would be an ideal card to put in the deck. So this is a potentially playable card, 3/2 for 4. I'm not a big fan of it, especially since you don't know, you might only have 2 artifacts in your deck. But it is a potential for a card depending on how you build your deck. Divination is always great. You never go wrong with drawing cards. In that same line, Anticipate is also great. Card draw, card selection card. Helping you look through the top of your library, pick a card you want. Especially at instant speed, you might be able to find a removal card you need to help you in the deck. Sleep is a great, like I talked about before, one of the great it's almost like a removal spell. You're tapping all your opponent's creatures. You have 4 or 5 creatures on the board. You got a creature stalemate. Boom, you play Sleep. You get a free attack in. Be able to get in twice. Another Omen Speaker. Aviation Pioneer is another one. Has potential because you can create a 1/1 softer token. Salvager of Secrets is great, depending if you have enough instants and sorceries in your graveyard. 2 of those. And another Omen Speaker. So overall, there's a lot of potentially playable cards, but the overall pool in blue doesn't seem very strong to me. So I'll put these aside for now, but it doesn't look like I'd be playing or want to be playing blue. Alright, on to black. So, Infernal Scarring. Despite you be able to pump up one of your creatures, and it does replace itself because when the creature dies, you have to draw a card. Still not a fan of it. I'd rather have this kind of like as an instant that does the same thing. Like instant +2/+0. If this creature dies, draw a card. As an enchantment, there's still an opportunity for you to get a 2-for-1. Not a fan of it. This card I'm a little more a fan of, Macabre Waltz. 3 of them I'm not sure, but put them in the player. I'll put one aside because I'll probably only play two at most, maybe even one. But this will help you later in the game to get back any creatures that died early in the game. Give you some card advantage for the late game. Graveyard Marshal is great. Even though it's black, try and stay away from that when it comes to limited decks, but still it's great. The fact that all the creatures that you've lost throughout the game you can change into 2/2 zombie tokens, of course. Right here, boom. Zombie tokens like that. So you can get a lot of value out of this one. Every creature that you've died that game can then turn into a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Child of Night is a solid creature, 2/1 with lifelink. As you'll see later, we have a lot of stuff that makes you lose life to draw cards, so that could be, if you gain life early with that, get on the battlefield on turn 2, could be good. The next card we got 2 of, I'm a big fan of, Plague Mare. Ignoring the first ability, it can't be blocked by white creatures, which is very situational. Opponent will probably only be playing white like 40% of the time. It's the second ability which is the winner. Being able to give your creatures opponent, all your creatures opponents -1/-1 till end of turn. Goblin Chain Whirler type effect is great. You can use it straight up, just playing it as an enter the battlefield ability. If your opponent has some 1 toughness creatures. You can do it before combat to make it so your opponent might not want to block your creatures knowing they're going to die. You can use it after combat as a way like, your opponent thinks they've got advantageous blocks, but then you play Plague Mare in your second main phase and clear their board. So it's a great card. It's very versatile in when you want to play it. So that's why I like it so much. Bog Stomper is a creature that I like a lot in Limited because, a big creature, most often you'll see these in green, but every once in a while in black. 6/5 for 6, it's good to have 1 or 2 of those in your deck. Have that large creature that's hard to deal with. 5 toughness is not very easy with to deal in Limited. So Neonate, kind of one of those cards that'll kind of gain you life, drain life throughout the game. Early blocker, but not a big fan. It's probably not one that I would play. 4/2 zombie. 2 toughness is great, but the fact that they have to block with 2 creatures, you might be able to kill 2 creatures with it. It being menace, so it has to be blocked by 2 creatures. So being a 4/2 it has the chance to be able to take out 2 creatures, or they just might not be able to block it. So Blood Divination. As initial cast, it costs a spell. Sacrifice creature, draw 3 cards. Solid card advantage spell. Kind of have to have the creature to sacrifice. Not many, it might be better if, one of your 2/2 tokens you make with a Graveyard Marshal or something to draw 3 cards. But, the card advantage is so great in Limited. But sometimes it can just be a dead card if you don't have a creature on the board, or you only have a good creature that you don't want to sacrifice. So the next removal spell, Nightmare Thirst. Most of the time, because not too many ways to gain life in Limited, it's a -1/-1 for 1, which, don't get me wrong, is great. But you know, if you have Child of Night Out, maybe you attack with it, boom, gain 3 life that turn, give something -3, -3. There are opportunities for the be able to kill a larger creature with it. So this is what I'm talking about before. Like, you've got Infernal Scarring to Abnormal Endurance. Basically the same card. You know, like give the creature +2/+0, and then provides a card advantage. This replaces itself. This replaces itself by keeping the creature that you're putting it on alive. I'd much rather have the combat trick. This is something your opponent can plan around. This usually is not. They won't see this coming most of the time. They'll be able to surprise this with them and maybe do a trade up, get a larger creature removed, all from a 2-mana spell. So we got another 2-headed zombie. Walking Corpse is okay, but usually I don't play that unless needed. Another Child of Night. And then 2 Liliana's Contract. So, as you can see, I don't have any demons. So, going the demon route to win is not going to happen. Don't have anything that makes demon tokens. Basically, I can ignore the bottom part. Now I have to think, is this card worth drawing 4 cards for 4 life? And I would say most of the time, yes it is. Would I want to play both of these in the same deck? Probably not. You have to realize when you're playing this, you're not really doing anything else for that turn. So taking 2 turns off and losing 8 life might be a little too much. So put one aside, probably only play 1 in the deck. Alright, so that's block. Cards to play with. If you notice, very little removal. Alright. Let's see what red has to offer. So Sure Strike, great combat trick, amazing. Basically, you can 1-for-1 your opponent with it, blocking with a weaker creature, attacking in, or even on defense, and just surprising them. Your creature will survive. Tormenting Voice I like. It's a good way to cycle a card you don't want in your hand that you've drawn for 2 new cards. Banefire is simply amazing. A very versatile removal spell. You can use it early, mid, and late game. Late game even becomes more powerful because they have no way of countering it or preventing the damage. But don't be afraid to use it early game if you need. It's also a great finisher if you're able to get in a lot of damage early, and then you say, "Oh, what's the game plan?" Lots of creatures on each side. You have a stalemate. How am I going to get through this? And then you go boom, finisher, Banefire to the face. So, Spark Tongue Dragon. It's a card I'm not a big fan of because, it's very hard to get to 8 mana and limited. Doesn't usually happen. Only time will tell to see how slow this format is. I don't think it'll be as slow as Dominaria. So getting the kind of the kicker bonus of being able to do 3 to any target, which is great. Don't think this would be a card I play for. Getting a 3/3 flyer for 5 just by itself isn't that great. Lava Axe. It's another card I'm not a big fan of. Usually when I have limited when it comes to damage spells, I want to have cards that are able to hit a creature and a player. Or even just a creature, but not just a player. Turrican planeswalkers, but those are so rare and limited. You won't see them very often. There is an option, obviously, with the Banefire and the 2 lava axes. You can just burn out your opponent. That is an option. So, but normally I would not play these in my limited deck. Electrify, though, I would play. Great instant removal. 4 damage will kill most things in limited. So yeah, I'd rather play Electrify much more than Lava. Dragon Egg. I'm a fan of this card for a couple reasons. One, you play it, your opponent does not want to attack you. They're like, oh man, if I attack, they're just going to block with the Dragon Egg, turn it into, this, boom. This guy right here, the Dragon Token. So yeah, it's not something that they're going to want to attack into. So, you don't really need your own way to kill it. People are always, most of the time, going to be attacking on the ground. So if you have this on the battlefield, it will, at some point, change into the dragon. Goblin Instigator. I like this because it's a 2/2 for 2, but what it does kind of separates it, right? You get the 1/1, say boom, you get a 1/1 token as well. So you can go wide if you have a lot of attacking creatures. You can also block 2 creatures if you're trying to prevent damage. So I'm a fan of that guy. Bogard Brute, solid card. 3/2 Menace for 3 mana, great. Can be hard to block, pretty aggressive card. So this guy I like too, especially if you're playing an aggressive deck. You get 2 damage for 2 mana. Plus you can just get 2 to the face just when it comes into play. Guy kind of looks like a Jar Jar Binks Fiashina lizard there, but this guy 3/3 haste for 4 mana. Even though it has haste, it's not great stats. Probably wouldn't play it in my deck. And you have a Pyromancer as well. Alright. That's what we got. Lava Axes, like I said, if we end up playing like a really aggressive deck going with it, having, basically knowing that you only need to get down to like your opponent down to 5 or 10 before we get in the Lava Axes, could be a way to go. But for now, I'll put them aside. Alright, let's see what green has to offer. First off the bat, we have 4, that's right, 4 Elvish Rejuvenators. Anything that can help smooth out your mana, make sure you're hitting your land drops, I'm a fan of. Even though it's a 1/1 for 3, be able to search your top 5, get a land that you need, is great. Would I play 4 of them? Probably not. I might play 2, possibly 3, depending on how many colors I end up in. But for now, I'll put 3, I'll put 1 aside. Next is Combat Trick, Titanic Growth. Great card. One of the best combat tricks in M19. So yeah, quite happy to get that one. This one's an interesting card. Very mana intensive, if you really want to recycle it over and over again. It'll take a lot of mana, but overall I like it. Especially one I've kind of grown on. You can give a creature trample, which will help get through like small blockers. And you're not going to lose the value from it because you'll be able to get it back later on in the game. Centaur Courser, 3/3 for 3. Solid creature, great for limited. Gift of Paradise. It's another one of those cards, all depending on how many colors I'm looking to play. But I don't usually put it in my deck, but it might make it depending how many colors we decide to play. This one, if it was obviously just a 4-2 for 5, wouldn't be that good. But 4-2 and the fact that it replaces itself and you get to draw a card, I'm a fan of that. So it's definitely one I put in my deck, especially with 4 power. You'll be able to kill a lot of big creatures with that. Oh, and it's back, folks. Colossal D is back. The Dreadmaw. Set number 5 out of the past 6 or something. Yeah, this is like I talked about before with which card was it? Bog Stomper, right? It's nice to have that high-end big creature that's hard for your opponents to deal with. So Dreadmaw is something, definitely something I would want to play. Highland Game is a solid creature, 2 power for 2. And if it dies, you gain 2 life, so you get a little value out of it. Similarly, the Greenwood Sentinel, 2/2 Vigilance for 2, which is great. Most often you'll see that in white, but the fact that it's green, solid 2-drop. So, Druid of Horns. When you cast an aura spell that targets it, you get a 3/3 beast token. That is great. You know, in reality, I think there's only two or 3 auras I have. One is Knight's Pledge, and the other one is Talent of Wildwood. So obviously this would be a great combination. Right, boom. Get a 3/3, right? But, you know, since don't really have enough to make it that powerful or that it would occur very often, I would probably skip playing that card. Fog. Yeah, good old Fog. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. It's actually a neat combat trick where, you know, if your opponent's going to go for an alpha attack with all their creatures, saying, you know, oh, okay, you're at 6, if I attack with everything, I'm going to kill you. You know, they don't need to worry about a counter attack because they know they're going to get enough damage in. You play Root Snare, boom. You probably won the game on the counter attack. That being said, it's still very situational. I like to put this in my sideboard, kind of see if I need it in game 2 or 3. All right, so that's green. So we've got the 5 colors. Let's see what we have for artifacts, people. All right, Arcane Encyclopedia. I like it. You put it in any deck. Get some card draw advantage. No Yehemde Tome, where you're paying 4 mana to draw a card, you people. You're paying 3 mana to draw a card. So we saw this bad boy earlier. Let's put the 2 equipment on. So they both provide +2/+0. Obviously the sword is a little better. You get Vigilance. You get a 2/2 Knight anytime that creature attacks. If I had to go, I'd probably not play this one, but would definitely play the sword. You can get some big advantage putting this on any creature that you have. Field Creeper, not a big fan of. 2/1 for 2. We've seen it in other creatures here, but often we'll have a little bit of extra ability or something that makes it a little bit better. Like, you know, this will gain you 2 life. Yeah. So the 1/1 for 3, but allows you to kind of fix your mana. Then the last one is Dragon's Head. Well, I've only seen 1 dragon. But that being said, it is a great card to help you fix your mana, obviously, and also for the purposes of getting any mana selection you need. So if I'm looking to play 3-4 colors, even 3 colors, This is great to make sure that I'm hitting my mana colors. Alright, so now here comes the multicolored cards. Okay, multicolored cards are very interesting in the fact that they're often the most powerful cards, but it's very hard to fit them in limited. So let's see where we got. Arcadius the Strategist. As you can see, I don't really have a large. I think the only defender I saw was good old Dragon Egg. Ooh, I could attack me with a 2/2. But obviously, oh look, red. Oh. So, that being said, even as an attacker, this is a creature that could potentially win the game for you. So I'm not gonna, for multicolored cards, I just lay them all out. I kind of go after it maybe deck to see if they can fit in, but might be a card I want to try and fit in just because it is so powerful as a 3/5 flying vigilance creature. Next is the Poison Tip Archer. Great card, obviously you can block creatures on the ground, flying creatures. You can put a clock on your opponent by making them lose life anytime something dies on the board. Without a lot of removal, this might be the way we need to go to eliminate our opponent's creatures. Then there's Dragon Disciple. Obviously it's great for mana fixing as well, adding 1 mana of any color. And then later in the game you can sack it, get a 7/7 dragon if you want. Not this baby guy, but a 5/5 dragon. So, that being said, all of these would be great to play in a deck. How many I'm going to play, kind of have to see. When it comes to lands, we have Reliquary Tower and Rupture Spire. Rupture Spire is definitely one that you want to play. Reliquary Tower, probably not. Not really anything. Hey, who knows? If I go like contract into divination for 11 cards, I might need to keep them all in my hand. But that's not going to happen. So, chances are I would not play the Reliquary Tower. Alright. So I'm going to put the multicolored cards here with the land. The artifact cards down here. As they can kind of be put in any decks, I'm going to kind of want to see how they play out. So the next step I do is trying to see if there's any like main colors I can kind of eliminate from what I have. So blue, as you see, as I said before, wasn't that strong of a pull. It's got some good card draw and selection, but the creatures not a big fan of. So I'm going to take blue off the table. So does that mean you're not going to play Arcadius? No, maybe. We'll see. Like I said, I have a lot of mana fixing in this. There's a possibility I could go for it. Alright, so let's see what's next. So, white can be pretty strong. It's got a lot of creatures, not too many spells, really one. Not too many ways to gain life. It's on the aggressive side. So, but, it's pretty good early, but I don't know if it's one I want to play, so I'll kind of put that to the side for now. Green, I feel, is pretty strong. I'm going to break it up by mana cost here. Kind of see how the curve goes. What I like is that got the rejuvenators. So if I decide I want to go crazy and play 3 or more colors, I have the possibility to do that. Alright, I'm going to leave green on there right now. So, next one I'm going to check is black. Kind of see how they fit in. Divination. With two high-end creatures, Dreadmaw, Bog Stomper. Oh, a couple 4-drops there. Plague Bears, which are nice. Another Child of Night, another Graveyard, a Martian. So, right now this black-green deck is looking pretty good. I'm a fan of it. It's got good curves. It's low on kind of spells and removal, but it's kind of what I opened, so like even white didn't have any really removal. There's a couple removal spells when it came to Bane, Fire, and Electrify, which could be an option, as we will see. If I was to look at red, the cards I would really want to play would be Electrify, Bane, Fire, and all the other cards are okay, but I think overall the two that I want to play the most are Bane, Fire, and Electrify. So, those have a potential of maybe some cards I want to splash in. So now, kind of add, so I've got a Rapture Spire. Poison Tip Archers fit well in a couple ways. They fit well in the curve, fit well with the colors. And then you have these two bad boys, the Strategist and the Disciple. So my mind is like, oh, I really want to play the Strategist. Anytime you really open a shiny card and it's really nice, you want to be like, oh, I want that. But in reality, I don't think it's something that's worth splashing essentially an additional 2 colors in white and blue. You got, one fix like Spire or Dragon Horde, but it might be a little hard to get it in. So sorry, people. No Arcades deck with this. It's so nice. I'll put it over here just because it's pretty. I'll put it in the corner. It's not part of the deck, but you can have a look at it. Then we take our artifacts here. There's Dragon's Horde. Even if I have no dragons, still a great mana spell, ramp spell. Especially if I'm looking to splash these red cards. Obviously the equipment is nice, and the card draw. Question is, do I want to play the Disciple? Because it's such an early drop, and it's such a splash color, I don't think it would be one that I'd want to play. I was going crazy and maybe playing Arcades, maybe. No, I'll put that aside for now. Alright, so this is kind of my opening deck here. Just in case, we'll have a look at it and go, hey, no, would I want the Druid in this deck? No. Gift of Paradise. Potentially with the splash color. The life gain is nice. The potential. We'll kind of see how it works out. Do I need a 4th Rejuvenator? No. Second Contract, potentially. Might be one I might want to bring in off the sideboard in a grindy matchup. Alright, so let's see what we have here. So usually when you're playing, you would like to have 23 cards and 17 lands. So let's see kind of how many cards we have here now, see if we need to cut anything out. Then we got 5, 9, 11, 15, 16, 18, 19, 23, 25, 31 cards. I think I'm going to have to cut some cards. Because there's so little removal, I really want to splash these and keep these in. Because we have other card draw, when it comes to divination and contract, I'm going to take out the encyclopedia. Go down to 1 Macabre Waltz. So, let's see. Two-headed zombies are okay, but I think I'm okay getting rid of one of them. I think because we're only playing 2 colors with a small splash, I can go down to 2 rejuvenators. Maybe even 1, we'll see. There's 2 ones, obviously we got lifelink. Because we have the lifelink, I'm going to keep this instead of the Highland game. It's another 2-1. Whoa. Sorry, Arcades. I'll put you back on top here. So let's kind of see where we're at now. So 4, 9, 12, 13, 15, 16, 18, 21, 20, 26. Another 3 cards to cut. So, Rock's Oracle is probably one I would cut. It's kind of iffy about that anyways. I could probably cut 1 more Rejuvenator. And then I'd probably, I do have some ways to gain life, not that many. There are some situations this might come up, but having a whole card for -1, -1, probably take it out. So kind of let's see what we got here. So we have 4, 8, 11, 13, 14, 17, 19, 23. We've done it, folks. We have done it. So obviously the last step here would be to put some lands in. So now that we have our 23 cards, all you need is lands, 17. Obviously we need to put in some ways to get red, but not too much. I'd probably stick in 2 mountains, a Rupture Spire, leaving us with 14 lands that we need. So 7 forests, 7 swamps, and then 2 mountains and 1 spire. That'll give us 5 different ways to kind of search for the 1 red mana that we need. Yet it's not going to overpower, have us draw too many mountains when we actually need black or green. We need forests or swamps. So there you have it, folks. Right here is our deck. Hopefully we get some zombies. Special appearance by Arcadius the Strategist. So thank you very much. Let me know what you think of the deck. See if you played any differently. Would you have built maybe a red-white aggro deck? Try and get those double lava axes in, Banefire, try and burn out your opponent. Or kind of, play the longer game with some value cards, some death touch, card draw. How would you have played it out? So let me know in the comments below. I hope you liked this video, and hope you have fun at your pre-release. Thanks a lot.